Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Corrections Code Enforcement Committee. We have present with us today Councilman Hockett and Councilman Schramm. Also present are appointed officials, City Attorney Paul Jensen and Public Safety Director Justin Day. In addition, we have supervisors, Corrections Supervisor Jeff Augsburger and Code Enforcement Planning and Zoning Director, actually, or Director of the Planning and Zoning, Daniel Furness. Also joining us today is Medical Lieutenant John Rehak. I'm going to go with Medical Lieutenant. I like that. We will turn this over. Justin, I know you're going to kick it right out, but I go to the appointeds first, and then you can direct us where you want to go.
All right, well, I will go ahead and turn that over to Jeff to go ahead and start with the Corrections Department.
Yeah, good morning. We'll start with today's population. Today's count is 156. The month average is 159. And for the year, we're at 161. Last meeting, we discussed Pepper Ball, that I was going through the application process to try to get it hosted here in winter, which would save us some money in lieu of sending our instructor elsewhere. I finished that, and they got back to me. They accepted the dates. It'll be September 10th and 11th. Talked with Chandra about reserving the auditorium, and I believe it's room 122 for the classroom side, and then the practical range shooting of the Pepper Ball. So that'll be coming this fall. We get 2 free seats in that. One will be occupied by our current instructor. They also give us, I believe it's a $500 voucher that goes towards purchase of projectiles. That's kind of a bonus. They try to get 15 students. If they don't get 15 by the date, it may get rescheduled. But I'll keep you guys apprised of that if that happens. So yeah, that's the Pepper Ball update. We'll host that this fall. And then I'll let John speak to some medical AED batteries here.
Yeah, I got a couple things. First thing I'll start with is the Med-Aid student program. Obviously, I want to touch base on kind of the background with that. So in order to, this was something that I identified that I wanted to continue when I first took the job almost 3 years ago to the day. However, you have to be at the facility for 2 years in order to become state certified. So within this last year, Winter City Jail is listed on the site as a Med-Aid student program certified through the state that allows me to instruct people and certify them within our facility. The first one just completed that you will be seeing more. Can I say name?
No names, but
No
it'll
names.
be on Mondays. The first student completed, and I believe it's in policy that there may be a wage adjustment there if sent and approved Monday night. Yeah.
So the first one is completed, and then my second student is in the early stages of starting. The first one was kind of feeling stuff out. I had to basically write, being a correctional facility, they differentiate the Med-Aid programs from up at the hospital, nursing homes, and correctional facilities. So I had to write the curriculum, the exams, quizzes, everything myself. Found some stuff that I changed a little bit throughout that process, but from now on, I expect them to go a lot more smoothly. So looking forward to getting the second one started. My next thing, also being the CPR AED instructor, identified this AED grant that law enforcement first responders got back in 2019. Obviously, that was before my time here at the city. However, I've been collaborating with Sheriff Pettit and Chief Dvorak, who knew a little bit more about it, and found out some things that are beneficial to law enforcement. from here on out, I asked if there was a duration on it, and they said no. So basically, the lifespan of our AEDs, we get pads and batteries at a very reduced rate through this grant. We have some batteries and stuff that are expiring. Chief DeVore does as well. So we'll be doing that through the grant. And then anytime pads are actually used on somebody within 24 hours, it kicks this facility known as Stryker a message, and they send free pads out. And anytime these AEDs have any technical issues, they will fix them through the grant. We just have to mail them in. So learning a little bit more about that, kind of dividing it up between, Mark kind of has his own, I now have my own back on the jail side, and then obviously Sheriff Pettit has his own. So looking into that, learning a little more about that, and then the last thing I was going to add is today is Government Days up at the high school. They'll be coming down to the LEC. This is my first time doing the Government Days. First of many, I am told. So looking to answer any and all questions, show the people that come down a few things about the jail, and yeah, just kind of inform them of anything they might want to know.
Any questions so
Yep.
far? Paul, do we have to go to Personnel Monday for
Yeah.
the correct paperwork's been turned in to HR in terms of the certificate that they received and whatnot, but I couldn't remember if we had, okay,
Yes.
Monday, okay.
Bright and early.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no problem. I'm an early riser. Then the last thing, job descriptions. It's my understanding, maybe this began in 911 and police in terms of an administrative assistant over at the PD when they moved. Been working on the job description, and then it must have been decided to come here and have us discuss as well, and in terms of the benefits or how they may help the jail operations as well, and any questions you guys may have, be happy to answer. And then I don't know if we talk wages and an intention there, is that a later?
Personnel.
Personnel as well.
Personnel is where we'll
Discuss that, yep.
make that part of it.
If it goes there,
Correct,
or maybe, I don't know.
correct. Yep. Just a couple of comments about the job description. This is one of the unusual circumstances in this particular one where we literally have what started out to be a hands-on deal with two different department heads potentially supervising the same employee. And as we looked at how the duties were going to be separated out, physically the person is more in the police department as the person who's there at the front door of the PD, whether it's welcoming, directing, assisting people, things like that. But yet a lot of the other administrative work that this person is going to do is going to be, a lot of it is going to be for the jail. And so as we tackled this and started the discussion, it really came to a consensus that it makes the most sense to have the public safety commissioner actually be the one that supervises this person and only this person. The public safety commissioner at least has the connection with the two department heads so that issues about control versus expenditure from the budget, things like that, the public safety commissioner is the logical place to have those issues worked out. And so that was my recommendation, that we then take this and make this unusual from that standpoint, but.
And let the department heads tell the commissioner what they want,
Correct,
and the commissioner talks to the worker.
correct.
Yep.
He'll be controlling the worker, but he'll also be, as you say, talking with those two department heads to resolve any issues about whether it's how much time the person has available for one versus the other, how much budget is spent from one department or the other, things like that. So he's the logical place to include that, so. that was why we landed where we landed.
And I can speak to, you know, the person being physically there helps and aids the public and the police department. When talking with Chief DeVore, you know, the work that they could do at the desk for what he could provide was limited, and that's where we identified things in the jail that will save correction staff a fair amount of time each day. So I was kind of tasked with what could that individual do on a day-to-day basis or on a week-to-week, or some tasks are monthly, but there will be a fair amount of clerical things they can assist with that'll save correction staff time. There's some that'll save me some time as well. And I would say more than half of their time I can provide work for them throughout the day, week. So they'll stay busy helping where they need to.
So are you guys okay with us sending that to personnel?
I am. It looks like a very inclusive job. I mean, it's kind of an intimidating job description. When you look at all the duties that you guys are requiring, at first read, it would be intimidating, but as you go through it, you know, it's, I don't know who wrote this up, it had to have been an attorney. It pretty well spells it out. I mean, it definitely creates the need for the position. The position is needed. That's what strikes me.
And that's a thing we're looking at quite a bit with the LEC as a whole, is are there these changes that are gonna make sense to increase productivity, to allow others to focus more in on the more important aspects of their job, because their job will be different than this one. And so this is kinda, these guys, we put a lot of work into talking with Mark and Jeff and figuring out how to best utilize this position to get the most benefit for both departments.
I can tell you one task I know for a fact, Monday through Friday, and it all depends on the volume of mail, but mail can take a CO or two if one's processing and the other one's delivering it into populace, into the inmate population, anywhere from an hour or 2 hours, and they even on a heavy stacked day where it comes in this high, maybe I'm not even giving it enough credit in terms of the amount of time it takes them to process and receipt all the money and get it into the JMS, the jail management system, make copies, because they were getting really creative on getting things, contraband type things in. Institutions had to get a little smarter. So if you send a picture in, we make a copy of said picture. If you don't get the physical aspect of the mail, you'll get copies of certain items.
Yep.
But law enforcement just had to learn from adapting circumstances. So, but I do know that that mail is a huge thing that'll free up a CO to be working elsewhere.
So do we pre-screen the mail before it goes to the recipient?
Yeah,
That's legal to do, huh?
Yes, the only thing we have to do in terms of if it's an attorney sending it in is we have them open it up in front of us. We don't read it. We just inspect the physical contents.
To make sure that's all that's in there, yeah.
Could be a paralegal or someone, they're real, they put a paper clip on something or they staple something.
Could be
or
a creative
clip.
shank and.
Yeah, correct, yeah. So the only thing the inmates, that we don't pre-open is legal mail. And then they just have them open it in front of us, just to ensure there's nothing in there that shouldn't. But yeah, it's a lengthy process, and I can say that will free up staff to be elsewhere, which is a good thing.
They wouldn't put a film of something on that picture, would they?
It's amazing. The thing I didn't know that we had to learn. Yeah.
They're creative.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even some duplicating from offices that some legal offices had to get creative and how, because they were counterfeiting, or anyway, it's wild. So that task I do know is a very, very critical, important task that that someone, once given the training and everything, yeah, it could be an hour, a couple hours a day, just in that task, so.
I'm surprised it doesn't require two staff
Sure.
to open that mail, one witness and one actually doing it. Is that a cambered event?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Where they process the mail is at a staff desk. It's actually adjacent to the current leadership office. I can't say there's always two in there, but the foot traffic, I mean, they're pretty diligent.
If we don't have two, are we cambered so that?
Yes.
An
Yes.
inmate can't say, wait a minute, there was a $100 bill supposed to be in there.
Yep, you're exactly correct.
Yeah,
Yes, it
okay,
is. It's
okay.
camera. Yep.
Only to protect ourselves.
That's exactly right.
And that person that's opening.
We
it,
make
because
sure everything.
You just
anything
wouldn't
is done
expect
on
that an
camera.
inmate would falsify something.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, you're correct, and that camera does, yeah. It gives us that.
Okay. Well, if we have
assurance.
that, then I would think that would protect us from any
Oh, yeah.
accusations in that manner, yeah.
Does.
But with all these duties assigned and everything, the council, I think our main thrust was to have somebody available as a face for the public. If somebody in this town has a problem with law enforcement or has an issue, they walk in that door, there's a face there to greet them. That was kind of our main concern in looking at creating this. So that can't get lost in the shuffle.
We certainly won't, we won't pull them off their assigned space. All the resources they need to assist the jail will be brought to them.
Sure.
If they're receiving money, if the public comes in to drop
Yep,
off money,
yep.
they'll do that as well. I'll get a small safe, that they can drop
Sure.
it in. That's what we do back in the
Perfect.
jail. We have a sign in when someone drops off, we
Sure.
have double checks. If Chandra was here, she would speak to how happy she is that we have those things as well.
Oh, you'd have to, yeah.
But it's just the accountability for the finance, and then the leadership out of the jail will just go over there towards the end of their shift and collect what was collected, and that way they can close out their financial reports and make sure everything's good in that regard. So yes, we won't pull them away for anything for the jail. Everything will come to them to just make sure, like you say, the public comes in, there's someone right there.
That's the intent and
Yep.
purpose for
Yep.
this.
So currently, is this, I don't know what you call it, is this greeting area staffed by dispatch?
The old area that when this position existed in the past,
Is this what,
It was in the district.
it was in
is it the middle on the way to
that-
the offices?
That's exactly right. It
Yeah,
was in
okay.
there was a little triangle, not triangle, square
Square,
little set of
yep.
desks.
Had a window open to the hallway?
Yes, the first people you always encounter when you'd walk in is dispatch on the right with the window. But then the receptionist.
And
or
that's
the-
what we're doing now?
We're doing, yeah, right now, that's right. Dispatch greets everyone that
If I
walks
wanna,
in.
if I wanna go see a jailer, do I
Yes.
not get, quote, screened by
That's exactly
dispatch
right.
and they call
That's
the
exactly
jailer?
right. Yep,
Okay.
yep. And that door is locked, because we moved some critical operations out of the jail and that are now in a new location. And so the security, we shored that up by, that glass door is shut and locked. You have to be allowed access, to
Right.
get in.
Right.
Whereas now in the.
You waited in the vestibule
Yep,
for somebody official to come and open the
exactly,
door?
exactly.
It's been that way for 10
Quite
years.
years, yes, exactly, yes, it
Yeah.
has, yes, it has. And so now what it'll do is, in the new location, new spot, you'll be able to just walk right into the police department off the street, and you'll be met with an individual.
Face.
Yep,
Face.
and they'll advise what they need, if it's law enforcement, if they're dropping off money for an inmate, they'll receipt it. If they have just general questions, how to get a hold of him, or anything, I mean, so, yeah. If Andrea was here, she'd probably speak to,
Time.
yeah, the individual, yeah. It's gonna be kinda nice, just because when people are waiting, like you described, you come off the street, you are a foot away from dispatch.
Yep.
And they're conducting their job duties, and it can be information, names, It's gonna be good to have another place for the public to go that isn't right outside of dispatch, I would say, you know.
I don't remember that you could hear what was going on in dispatch unless you were right up there with your nose in the window.
Sure.
Then I remember you could hear it. Otherwise, if
There's
you were.
certain people don't have hearing like you and I do, Brad. Certain people can hear very well.
Thank you for that.
Yep, yeah, I've shot a lot of guns without ear pro on, so
You old flirt.
But they, no, there are times, especially if it's coming over the radio and the traffic and they got stuff turned up, you can. Whereas this position now, you will come off. It's gonna help the officers too, because right now where all the offices are, back there where all the officers sit, you know, when people come in, we did have a buzzer. We just bought one of those. Pull it apart and it dings, so we know when someone comes through the door. But it'll be really nice as well to have someone sitting there to greet them. And Jeff has plenty to keep them busy throughout their day, which allows his staff to stay focused on their safety and security ends, which in turn is going to lead to a better product back in the jail. It's going to lead to a better product in the police department as well as to dispatch. So it's really kind of an all-encompassing payout to the investment, which is what you got to look at. Any other questions? You can ask John anything you want to, too. Like, nothing's off
I
the
can't believe he
table.
spoke. It's the first time in
No, he
how many
said-
years
No,
we
he did
heard
pretty
him
well.
speak.
Good.
Nice job.
Should have butchered it a little bit, I guess.
I kept looking over to make sure it was really him talking.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's why you bring them and make it steady and crimps and then have them on the mic.
He speaks.
Yeah.
All right, if nothing else, then Dan has a few things he would like to bring up and run past, too.
So, last few weeks I've been working on getting the vacant structure notification sent out. We're starting to get some of those back already. I got a few more that were entered this last year that haven't been entered into the computer yet that I gotta go through and get those letters sent out yet, but all in all, those are coming along pretty well. With those, I did send out to all the residential properties, I sent out information on the Spruce Up program, so that maybe some of these people that have these vacant structures that, you know, like the one behind your house, Brad, that are just sitting there empty, vacant forever, they're falling apart, need to be taken down. Maybe these people will approach us, maybe it's something they didn't know about, so give them an idea of, you know, what's going on with that. So that's all I have for that. And then another thing I've been working on is this, what I'm calling a property improvement plan. I think we had something similar to this in the past. I could not find it anywhere. Essentially what I want to do with this form is I want to open up communication with those homeowners. When I was sending out all these courtesy notices this spring, I think people may have gotten the wrong impression with what I was trying to do, and I was trying to open up a dialogue, and I think this will better suit that, because those bigger projects, I think people are going to see as overwhelming, and when you give them an opportunity to set up a plan, maybe we work on this over a year, maybe we work on this over 2 years, maybe it's going to take some time to, you know, save some money, but ultimately we have a plan to move forward. We're not just sitting stagnant and not doing anything. And then, you know, I don't have to write citations to these people. I can, on a plan, we can figure this out. So that's my idea with this.
When you present this to them, you're gonna sit down with them with this sheet, right? And you're gonna go over this and talk to them,
My
or? is that
my
how it's
original idea was to take and come up with a letter to send to all the ones that I've already sent out.
Yeah.
That if you're not able to make those repairs by the date that I had set on the letter, please fill this out, send it back, or stop in and talk to me. that was kind of my idea behind that, just to try to open up that dialogue.
That's critical.
Friendly dialogue?
Yes, I would appreciate to be friendly.
It works best when you have friendly dialogue.
It's interesting, because when I was looking at this property improvement plan, and this is just a question, it's not criticism. It says repairs required. Are we gonna fill that in?
What I mean.
New roof, new siding,
Maybe.
What I mean by that are the specific violations that I sent them and that I had noticed, those violations that they're going to need to do on this improvement plan that they can't.
that's what I wonder. Are they gonna fill that out based on previous letters? Or are you gonna put those in?
I'm gonna
This
let
is-
them fill that
This is
out.
what we say are deficiencies, so repairs required would be listed here.
So the reason I'm gonna let them fill that out is because I want them to fix what they can now, and what they can't, then we put on this plan. So I'm not gonna dictate that everything goes onto this plan.
Yeah. I was just wondering if we were gonna be the ones that said, thou shalt put new windows in.
No.
Okay. Because that would seem to be getting into a real hairy region there. I have a question, because it was presented to me, the vacant property registration form.
Right?
Is that every year I have to fill out a new one? Or
Yes.
is that I fill one out until it's no longer vacant?
Every year.
Every year, okay, I did not know the answer.
Yep.
So every year, and that anniversary date is,
They have to, I usually send them out the beginning of April is when I'm supposed to send them
like
out.
May 1st,
They have to be returned by May 31st.
May 31st.
And it was, it's
That answers-
after they are delinquent that they potentially start incurring fees.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's time frame.
If everything is
That must
filed,
be why they asked me the question, because
Yeah.
do I have to do that every year?
sure.
I don't mind being
That's
ignorant.
the important thing that people want to know, is that if I do what I'm supposed to do, then it doesn't cost me a fee.
Right.
If I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then potentially the fees
By
start.
re-registering. But every year I gotta register sometime before May 31, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will relay that information, yep.
And I send it out to all the ones that I know
You send
about.
notices from the, you send them out as a matter of your job, you send them out to people, notification that, hey, you gotta fill this out again this year.
Well, evidently, he's mailed
There
them
should
out
be no
already, because the
confusion.
question came up.
Yeah.
There should be.
Do I have to do that every year? That was the question I got, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'd have got it had you not been doing your job by mailing them out already, yeah.
Yeah, no, like I said, I've got a few that I have left to go, because they were hand-filled out ones. I just haven't gotten them inputted into the system. They weren't done when they were brought in, so. I gotta just input those, and then I can send out the new ones for those. Sure. Not too many.
Is that, on the letter you sent out, is that deadline date on there?
Yes. There's a
Okay.
deadline date, and then there's.
So I can be as direct as I want, read your damn paper.
I mean,
Okay.
that's up to you.
No, yeah, thank you. Easier to call somebody and ask than it is to read a piece of paper, I think. Yep. Very
That's all.
good, thank
That's all
you.
I have.
Council, any questions? Any other questions? Any final input? Good, okay.
So you weren't here for the meeting, but I was told if I write a letter to the right person, they'll haul that dirt out of there. So,
I wasn't here for
okay.
that.
Yep, the attorney told me what to do, so I'll get that done.